Top 5 rogue decks. Now, when I say rogue, these are going to be what exist below the biggest top 5 decks in the room. So, if I missed something that you were like, where's Sword Soul, Robbie? Where's Mystic Mind the deck? It's probably going to be here. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So, we're just going to dig our feet into the ground here with the Mystic Mind variants / Runic Mind / I love Mystic Mind. It's so good. Alright, well, first of all, Mystic Mind Burn. One of YCS. I know a few people like, oh, yeah, Robbie, just stop talking about mine already. Well, unfortunately, it is still going to be a deck you're going to need to be aware of. If I brought up like localized metagames previously, where I could see a lot of Runic Mind decks taking down, some first place locals out here. Once again, if you know your local metagame, if you're not coming prepared for it, that's on you. Alright, I hate to be the guy that's like, Spell and Trap hate exist. You got Harpy Feathers, you got MSTs, you got, Lightning Storms. You got so many good back row removal cards that, unless the Runic player mills them all off of you, the Yu-Gi-Oh player community is just saying, just draw the out. Gosh, come on. Understandable. It's going to come down to, if they're playing Mystic Mind Burn, they probably got Judgments and Dark Bribes. If they're playing the Runic version, you don't think you have to deal with as much back row protection per se, but a quick play spell card for protection to special summon, Hugin will probably ruin your day about as much. But do not discount what this deck can actually do right now. I think this deck is going to be one of the scariest decks in the room for just the roguish category. So, once again, if you're not prepared for the matchup, you can't really blame anybody but yourself. And if the matchup goes bad, you might not have played enough. Unending Nightmare is a really good card, I heard. Unending Nightmare, pay some life points, take out, as much as you want once per chain. You get 7 uses off of a card, man. That's pretty good. Alright. Next up here is Sword Soul. I debated on putting Sword Soul a little bit higher on my list, if you want my honest opinion here. I was really having the conversation with myself if Sword Soul and Flaunderies really were interchangeable. And what makes Sword Soul look a little bit more appetizing? I actually don't think it looks more appetizing than Flounder right now. Every time I bring up Sword Soul, I always bring up the fact that the deck feels fair. And trust me, by the standards of Sword Soul being fair, a lot of people get very upset. Honestly, Sword Soul puts up 2 interruptions and then Blackout. So that's 3 interruptions in total. So what? Cheese Out, Baron, and Blackout to attribute the Cheese Out. So technically 2 interruptions with 2 pops. That was the standard for a long time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Then you have RNG Central, the deck out here, tier that's just oh boy, time to go. It's the reason why Dark Row and No More just kind of wrecked Sword Soul's day, because one Dark Row and No More is oh, okay, now I play through Blackout, yay, I lose the game. That's what it was like every time I played Sword Soul. So Dark Row and No More just ruined my day. So unfortunately, with board breakers, just gaining as much popularity as they have throughout time and space here, while Sword Soul still puts up pretty okay boards, you just got to worry about bricking. Sword Soul's greatest weakness is itself, man. I can't tell you the amount of times that it's you open up a hand and you're oh, wish I had something to reveal for the Mo Yi, or for the discard for the Long Yun, or you open up not a way to get to the Mo Yi. So the deck's greatest weakness, I feel is itself, but it's got problems that it can't really fix right now, unfortunately. So we'll have to wait and see how Sword Soul kind of summarizes itself in the metagame. But for now, it's not looking too good. Next up is Despia. Now, Despia, I think, is looking a lot better than Sword Soul right now. Even though, Sword Soul has Mystic Mind and things like that to help it out. I guess technically Despia has that as well, but Despia has something we like to call the super polymerization effect. Isn't it amazing that you can fuse away, use your opponent's monsters as stepping stones to create your own ultimate creatures? Oh my gosh, that's what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! Fun and exciting. Right, guys? The fact that Super Poly exists as a card, that's been the genuine frustration that I've heard from the player base is just like, get Super Poly back on that list. It's not fair that you can capitalize, fuse with my monsters. I think it's fine. I really do. Despia versus the OCG version of the deck, we have the deck at 100% power here, and you're just watching like the natural progression of power creep just carry this deck away into the sunset, So the fact that Despia is still kind of held on within like that top 10 sphere, it's made a couple of regional appearances. I mean, so is Sword Soul. Both of these decks, can top 8. It's not totally unheard of. It's going to depend on, like how the metagame goes for the area, If you're like in an Iowa regional versus a California regional, well, you're probably going to have a better time topping the Iowa regional versus the California regional, because 900 versus maybe 200, if that. So, localized metagame, giant impact. How well your Super Poly targets will matter in the matchups, and just... did you brick? Did the Frightford Patchworks, help you out today? Also, what variation did you play? It's actually another good question to ask there. Because, honestly, those little decisions in deck building make all the difference in terms of deck building. Next up is Rika Sun Avalon. So, I remember when this deck last format showed up as an amazing card. So many people were so excited, man. All right, they were like, oh my god, plants are back, Robbie. Rika changes the game. Rivalry of Warlords is amazing. Like, trust me, bro, this deck is gonna stick around. And then more and more events passed, unless Rika Sun Avalon was making top cuts. Now, this is actually interesting because I wouldn't consider this deck's topping a fluke. What I would say happened is the format kind of evolved to a point that the boards that the plant deck makes aren't as good as they once were. I do wholeheartedly believe that Rika Sun Avalon had a lot of cool potential in its early life. I think the deck still has very cool potential to catch players off guard. I can't reliably tell you how many people in my locals know or care about a Rika Sun Avalon full combo. I think if they see like the whole board play out, they're just like, oh, cool, I opened Dark Ruin no more. They just slam it on the table and they go about their day. The combo doesn't feel powerful. The combo, I don't know. I like the field spell being able to be a Lair of Darkness is cool. Just the interactions to tribute your opponent's stuff matters all that much. But the deck doesn't feel anywhere near as threatening as, Mathematic Normal Summoning Circular, and not even special, or not even normaling the circular, doing full circular combo on your opponent, and you're just like, yeah, well, I lose. There's nothing I can do here. Rika just feels subpar. I want to give the deck more credit. I really do, because I love what Plant does as a deck. But it's not that appealing, unfortunately. So, for now, I'm going to put it down at number 9. And then, of course, I obligatorily have to put Eldritch on this list. Eldritch's place within the scope of the format is still, I can play, a splash of my Fallen of Albaz package in the deck. I can make Mirjade now. Ooh, scary! I love Mirjade. It helps me have a boss monster. Yeah, as if a 3,500 attack Golden Lord, staring at your opponent going, hi, with 5 back row wasn't scary. A Mirjade standing next to it really, really makes the Golden Lord look all that more buff. You know what I mean? There's also the fact that, at the end of the day, when you're looking at, how the deck is working, Skill Drain just detours people. Speaking of Skill Drain, Tears citing Skill Drain in some of these variants out here. So if you're like, oh my god, Skill Drain's, you got a tier 1 meta deck playing Skill Drain in some of its variants. You got other problems to worry about besides, just which hunk of metal is playing what this week. So, to be honest with you, I still think the Adventure package has a home in Eldritch. All right, you can play Fallen of Albaz with it. You pick your flavor of secondary package that you want to pack into Eldritch, and I think you have something that you can play that can get you by an okay amount. I think you can get your invite with this deck. If you're aiming for top 8, I don't think you're going to have as good of a time. But once again, it's going to come down to variations, deck techs, and things like that. But I definitely think that Eldritch right now, in terms of the rogue category, still doing pretty alright. So what do you guys think about this list? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.